Hey gorgeous, and welcome back to the Christian Girl Vibe Live, which is sponsored by the PRUNED, which is a femininity coaching program where we help ladies to reclaim and regain their femininity and also get pruned into their best versions in their femininity, relationship, and finances. And I bet you know that these things will help you to enhance the quality of life you live on earth as a Christian woman. And you know how we do it here. The Christian Girl Vibe Live is a podcast where we come as Christian women and air it all out. We are normal people, except that we have the Lord Jesus. And there's a difference between the Christian girl and that of, the girl who is not a Christian girl. Every challenge, so long you're a human being on earth, we all face the same challenge, but the difference there lie in how we react to them. And if we don't know better, we can't do any better. So if you're looking for a platform where a podcast session where you will learn more about the Christian girl and we'll discuss your struggles and bring answers to them, this is definitely the right one to stay with. And do not forget, if you have questions and you have concerns, do not forget to lay them bare in the comment section or type them out. Send us an email on the email that is on the screen, or send me a message in my inbox. You all know my social media handles. And with that being said, today we have a very beautiful topic to discuss. We are talking about love in the Lord. Hallelujah. So we are talking about love today and moving abroad and finding love. That's one of the things that scares a lot of sisters from moving abroad, or even while they contemplate the thought of trying to move abroad. One of the questions is, oh, will I find love? Oh my God, if I move to this place, will I find someone that I will love? What if I get there and I don't find someone that I will love? And this has made a lot of ladies to just, settle for less. But you are called to be different. Remember, you're a chosen generation and you don't have to settle for less. And in today's podcast, I have no other person that is perfect for this topic except for our own very Mrs. Lillian Okoha. So with this, I urge everyone to make welcome Mrs. Lillian to the podcast today. Miss Lillian, you're welcome to the Christian girl vibe. Oh, I think I made a mistake. I said Okoha. It's Ukoha. All right, I just
Hi.
introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, so my name is Lillian Paul Okoha. Um, yeah, I'm a procurement manager, also a Chinese tutor, and also a content creator. And a clear evidence of God's grace, a clear evidence of God's favor, because everything that has happened in my life so far is obvious that is definitely God, sincerely. So yeah, here I am. And I'm ready to share all I know that could help one or two persons out there.
Yay! I can't wait for us to dive into this. So moving, let's start. When did you move to China in the first place? Because I know you moved to China, then back to Nigeria, and then to the UK.
Yeah.
So when did you move to
Mhm.
China?
2018.
Okay, and when you graduated, you went back home, and then
I
what?
graduated in 2020 during the COVID thing and all, so just had to go back.
Honestly, because each time I hear someone is going back home, I'm like, is everything okay? Why do you want to? Why do you want to go back home?
I get it.
So how has your
Yeah.
journey, how
So,
was your journey? Like, how was your experience having lived in China? Like, how did it really affect your Christian faith? Did it make you grow closer to God, or did it confuse you or push you away from God?
okay, so I'll start with prior to moving to China, because even getting to learn Chinese language as a skill per se, because my what I studied was library and information science.
Mm.
So having to come across Chinese language was actually a miracle, because I was passing through school and then I came across these Chinese teachers that were doing kung fu in the building or so. So I got very fascinated. I was like, wow, what are these people doing? It's not the movie I used to watch in the movies and all. So the next time I went to that same building, and then I noticed that there was a Confucius Institute there.
Mm.
And then I was like, okay, let me go and try it out. And that was close to my ND2, getting to IT, going for the 1 year internship and all. So I registered. Okay, I didn't register at first. I went to see what was happening, and then I did the class the first day. The second day, I came again for their level 1 classes,
Yeah.
and then the I think the miracle there is that the teacher that was teaching us was she just liked me. She just liked me, and And I think what was so surprising about it is that after 1 week, I just wished that I was like, oh, that I'm not coming again for classes because I'm about to go for my 1 year IT and I want to travel back home to be with my dad and help him out at home and just look for 1 or 2 things I'll just be doing for that 1 year.
Mm.
She told me no, that I should not go. I thought I don't even have money to register. I think the class was 5,000 naira to register. I thought the truth is I don't even have money to register and I need to go and hustle. She said no, that okay, that she's going to pay for me. Imagine a
Mm.
Chinese teacher. She said she was going to
Mm.
pay for me, that I should stay back, but that I'll pay her back by doing my best and then maybe help her with some errands in the institute. So that was how I started. And because I was so close to her, it helped me to really love the language. I felt indebted. So the best thing I could ever do is to make sure that I did very well. And
Yeah.
that's really spurred me to really come out very well in the department in that Chinese stuff. And from there I started like a joke. I never knew about, oh, you can get a scholarship to China. So I just started based on, oh, I'm learning Chinese language. Oh, I'm with we call it Onyocha, something like that. So I tell my, oh, I'm with Onyocha, and then I'll snap pictures, send to my dad. He'll be so happy. And the funny thing is that I was learning with her, and she was still paying me monthly salary during my
Oh.
1 year IT stuff. So she was paying me. So it's more like I'm learning and she's still paying me. So she was paying me like I think 5K per month or something for me to just do an upkeep. And the only thing I had to do that period was to find somewhere I could just squat. It was not really easy for that 1 year because if you're not a student there, you can't pay for hostel. So I was
Yeah.
squatting from one bunk to the other. Any bunk I find out that is empty, I'll just go and sleep there. The next day I continued. Then after like a few months, she found out and then she asked me to come stay with her in their teacher's apartment. So there was just a whole lot of God, what's happening?
Mm.
And then after everything, I I I think my level 5 or so. Then I got the scholarship with my set to go to China. It was me like all this MMM. How this goes? Is it MMM or what?
That
That
MMM.
you feel like it's too good to be true. Till I felt it was really too good to be true. Till the point where we actually went to embassy and we
Mm.
got the visa. And I'm like, wait, I'm going to China and they're paying me they're giving me scholarship, happy. They're paying me for monthly allowance. They are giving me what's it called, hostel accommodation. Like I'm literally not going to do anything. I was just going to study in China. And the good part of it is I was doing masters. And
Mm.
coming from a HND holder, you know that in the country, you can't really go do a master's without having to do a PGD in between.
Yeah.
But having to do master's straight up, everything was just like, what is happening? Like the whole thing turned my whole life around. And then coming into China, sincerely, I wouldn't say something I regretted
Mm.
because it was more like I was living in a movie. It was more like what I just noticed was every stage of my life, at that point, God always made it obvious what the next stage was going to be.
Mm.
So at that point in my life, I knew the next stage was that China. And I didn't, some people they'll be like, oh, what am I going to China to do? I'll stay back, use my Chinese language, go and look for interpretation work and just hustle. And people are making it 150K per month, 100K per month. I didn't do my NYC. I left immediately. And I left and then started my classes in China. I met very nice friends. My roommate was also very nice. I just thank God how God provided her for me because she was also a Christian and her faith in God really helped me to
Mm.
hold on, even in the midst of the whole China, whatever, that maybe you feel like you're not in a familiar environment, but
Yeah.
having a friend close to me as a roommate that God provided for me was also a stronghold for me to really move on. And then we're able to study together, have really nice experiences. Of course, first time in abroad, you know? So,
Yeah.
so, so we're really feeling ourselves. But yeah, my experience in China was really a nice one until COVID happened. So we're able to do our graduation, we're able to do a lot of things. But at the same time, I think that COVID happened for a reason because if
Mm.
it didn't happen, my boyfriend and I then, which is my husband now, were really concerned. Oh, should I come back? Maybe you should move to China. And it was a long topic for us, but COVID happened and we had no other option than to evacuate and come back home. We didn't stay
Mm.
back. And the truth is, like you said earlier, most people are like, so she's going back to Nigeria. Why is she going to do? Like lots of friends were like, even some of my old teachers called me, were like, I heard you're going back to Nigeria. What for? Lydia, you're so brilliant. You're so this. Why not stay back for your PhD, this and that? You're going back because of a man. Like I heard lots of things, or at the same time, I was like, you guys are not going to discourage me. And as God may have it, my roommates too also had the same plans to go back. So it was more like, okay, at least I have someone that is in the same agenda with me. Maybe if she was not going back, I'll start doubting myself. But
Yeah.
God really helped me in such a way that people that had opinions about me were people that I didn't care what their opinions were.
Mm.
And I was really happy that I took that decision coming back, because as God may have it, as I was rounding up with my master's, I got a job with Huawei. So it was more like I was asking myself, okay, God, though, you want me to go back? So if I go back, what am I going to do? I cannot go back and do interpretation job. Oh. It's better you tell me what you want. If not, I'm staying back in this China. And then maybe if I stay back, it means maybe my boyfriend doesn't want to come back now. And Kukuma will break up, something like that. But as God may have it, as I was rounding up with the masters, we did the job, Huawei job came up, and then we did interview, and me and my friend we got it too. So we're
Wow.
like, wow, okay, I'm going it. And as God may have it too, the office in Nigeria is just 5 minutes away from where my boyfriend lived, which means when we got married, it was just very close proximity. I was not faced with
Yeah.
any traffic. Everything was seamless. Do you
Mm.
get?
Yeah.
So I was just looking at the whole thing. I was like, okay, well, I think I have to go. So that was it. We left China, then we came back to Nigeria. I started my NYSC because Huawei insisted I need to do my NYSC to be a
Mm.
full staff and all that. I did my NYSC while working with them. It grew me closer with my boyfriend. We got to know ourselves better. We started planning our wedding, like a whole lot of things that I'm so grateful. Like if I'm to replay it over and over again, I think I'm going to make the same steps that I made. I'm not regretting one, like even for a dime. You get? So
Yeah.
it's always good that at every stage, I think the issue is that most times we're in stage one and we already want to achieve stage five without thinking of stage two, stage three, stage four. Do you
Yeah.
get? So
Yeah.
I really thank God that I passed through those phases, that I was able to accept what the next stage was going to be, even if it was not how perfect I would have wanted it. But at the same
Mm.
time, I was really grateful to God that He was even able to provide a path to even
Yeah.
follow. There
Yeah.
are some people, they get to one stage and they are even confused on what they want to do. But it
That's
was
so true.
clear. And I just thank God that there was no mixed confusion of, is it this? Is it this? It was so obvious that this is it, that
Mm.
I didn't struggle with making that decision. And I just thank God for that. Yeah. So we
That's
moved to
awesome.
Nigeria. I came back to Nigeria, started work. Yeah. So that is it.
You know what? Yeah, like this is the first time I'm ever hearing somebody. This is the first time I'm hearing someone say, "Oh, that everything for me like was so seamless, and I never regretted coming to China, like in any
So,
way." First time, oh, first time, and you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying, honestly. And this is like a miracle. It's
Yeah.
like a miracle. You know, you were
It is
a
actually.
set. You were a set ahead of us. And then I used to see you with all this loud. There was, I think there was a time you even taught us, or was it my class or the other class you
Yeah.
taught back then in Oko? I'm like, huh, now these people are very close to Laoshi. How will I even ever get close to Laoshi? These people are very smart and intelligent that I'll never get close to Laoshi. And learning Chinese for me, honestly, was a struggle. Though I had a thing for languages, of course, but at a point, the struggles in school, I was finishing my HND at that time, so
Yeah.
writing projects, being broke, and then managing to do
Mhm.
Chinese language. And I thank God I did that Chinese language. If
Yeah.
not, I would not be here today. Oh, honestly, I may have found maybe a job with my food
I
science.
see.
No, that's the truth.
Exactly.
That's the truth. I may have found maybe a job with my
Mhm.
food science certificate. That is if God did it, because I know most of my classmates don't have jobs. You get so, but thank
Mhm.
God I went for Chinese. Although there was a lot of discouragement, but I still stood my ground. It was not funny at all. So I'm really glad that looking back to 5 years ago, you could be like, wow, this is God. What everything you're saying here, you're like, by the grace of God, 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 God. It is clear and obvious that God did it. In a simple term, God did it. Okay, now moving forward, your
Mhm.
boyfriend, your husband, that your then boyfriend, did you guys you met in Nigeria before you came to China, or you met in China?
So we met in Nigeria, and then that was just barely a year, and I left for school in China. So it was more of a long distance relationship because when I was in China, we were still getting to know each other more. And
Mm,
but the good thing there was just that we saw the commitment in each other to really make it work. And one of the things that he really did and pushed that it happened was us every day. Like whether it was in their own Nigerian time or in my own China evening, we made sure we talked, even if it's before I sleep. That was one thing that was really, really, I think that was what really helped us, that we're all always in each other's space. Do you
mm,
get? So even if it's once in a day talk, that talk actually happened, it really helped us a whole lot. And then seeing that he was also God fearing, very intelligent,
mm,
and career prospects is really nice. So it was really something that was okay. Yeah, this guy is actually a nice person. I don't really need to start looking for someone else in China because I can't even tell if that person might be, because the kind of person I might like, or because I actually wanted someone that also goes to my church, and there were
mm,
really few in China. So that alone has already zeroed lots of persons that would be an option to get. So I just thank God that he was there even before I traveled, because if maybe I didn't meet him before I traveled, maybe had it been we met later, I don't think I would have really come back to Nigeria because of him. Because one of the reasons why I also traveled was because he didn't want to be in China because of the language issue, and he already
mm,
had a very good job in Nigeria. So we wanted to actually see each other and then also see what goes from there. Okay. So because he's already a very nice person and he was ready to make the relationship work, I was up for it to also
mm,
give him a try, or just build myself to invest into the relationship. So yeah, we met before, then we did a long distance relationship for 2 years, and then I came back after a year. We got married.
mm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, because some of the relationships you find here, like I've seen people who traveled to China and ended their relationships, the ones they have back home. I've also met someone who
Mhm.
told me in China, I said, because the person thought that my husband, who was then my fiance at that time, the person thought that he was not in
Mhm.
China. So the person was like, I should forget about all this Nigerian love now. His own woman is not in China. My own man is not. So let's just team up together and see how where this boat leads us. And I'm like, see, my man is in China, and even if it's not in China, I'm already committed to him. There's no way I'm going to be doing that. So that's a beautiful story, and it's not
Mhm.
really easy doing long distance relationship, because I did mine also. It's not funny, but I'm glad that you made mention of
Yeah.
both of you being committed to the relationship. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Now, when you made mention of that you were trying to give it a try, how did you know he was the one? Like, how did there are some persons who will be like, oh, God told me in the dream. For me, I started receiving, I don't dream about men, but and when I started receiving dreams and some things started happening, and I knew that, oh, see, God is trying to lead me to this particular guy. So, and there are people who will just be like, see, I just liked him and that was it. So how did you confirm, like, this man is my man, this is man for me?
Okay, so if there's one thing I've always prayed about, is that God should give me a clear direction. He
Mm,
shouldn't confuse me in making choices. And that has really helped me in a long way, because most times I may not really dream about it, but the option is so clear that that's the option.
mm,
You get the point? So
yeah.
when I was with him, it was so clear that he's the one. It was so, I had this conviction because every other person that came around me or wanted to date me around that time, comparing them to him, I would say he was better. So it was more of, I can't settle for less.
Mm,
If he is not the one, there should be someone. He set that standard. That was like, okay. If he's not this person, then there should be someone better than him. And I
mm,
was yet to see. Do you get my point? So
yeah.
I felt that conviction that every other thing really tally. He went to the same church. He's God fearing. He's intelligent. He has a good career perspective. He had a lot of characteristics that when I was looking at it, and he's very committed with friendship and communication and
Mm.
family oriented. Do you get my point? Most of our
Yeah.
guys that we see today, there's always one thing off. It's that the person does not have time for you, or someone is just shy. I just don't know. But when he talks, or when I was talking with him, and I think one thing that was so good too about him is that I could tell, like, me being with him really helped me to get better in some areas of my life,
Mm.
sincerely. Because of him, I had to stop some certain things or some certain attitude I was doing before. Because of him, I had reason to be better, which
Mm.
I barely do when I'm with some guys. Some guys is like, I'll be yourself, I'll be myself, whatever. Do you get? At some point there's a clash, but
Yeah.
he was really ready to invest in that relationship and that friendship. And like I said earlier, at that point in time, it was so obvious he was the one.
Yeah. You
If he
just
was not the
knew.
one, do you get? If he's not
Yeah.
the one, I didn't see any higher option. So obviously he was the one. So it was so clear for me that there was no different. There's no, oh, is this person? It's not this person. If it was this other person, I was saying, oh, this person does not have a job yet. How do
Mm.
I do you get? There were so many options that I had, but looking at them, comparing it to him, I could say that yes, he actually was the best option.
Mm.
So I
That's
really
another.
grateful to God for that.
That's really beautiful. That's another aspect because there's some ladies I know that be like, okay, God has to show me. And I'm like, see, God doesn't show everybody in dreams or
You get
revelations. Yeah.
exactly.
There are people that you just find this peace. You just knew. Not that this is not your
Mhm.
first date. Like you have dated some persons, you have come across some person, like some persons that have come into your life, but something was just off. And with this person,
Yeah,
everything just it was as though like
everything
everything
balanced.
was just yeah, everything balanced and there was just this peace. Well, that's such a beautiful story. And by the way, girl, your husband is a fine man. Hold you way before
I know
all these sisters. Well, these sisters cannot try because he loves the Lord and he fears God and he's a principled man. So if they try, they're going to fail.
that.
So to everyone watching us right now, if you're still watching us and you're just laughing, ha 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 ha, click on the subscribe button. Do not forget to share this video and also invite other people, other ladies to come learn on this particular topic and platform. Now, Lillian, moving on. You know, you moved from Nigeria to China, then back to Nigeria, and then to the UK. And there are a lot of persons who really also like who are wondering like why the UK or what's the process? Because I noticed you started creating some videos, you know, on your channel, on your Instagram, especially about you relocating, you're
Mhm,
moving to the UK. Do you have intentions of posting
mhm.
them on YouTube as well, like the full vlog? Because some of the things you posted on your Instagram were like short clips.
I actually do have plans for that, just that I'm just so lazy, sincerely. I have lots of videos I have been wanting to post on YouTube, but I just get lazy because, YouTube, unlike Instagram, you can just post short clips and that is it. You don't need to say so much, but YouTube, you need to sit down, compile everything, do a voiceover or do a video record. But yeah, maybe from next week, I'll start posting them. Sincerely, I have lots of them.
Honestly, we really need to see them. And like you said, YouTube is a whole different ball game. Ah, kudos to all of us that are still trying our best. Honestly, kudos to all of us that are still trying our best.
Yeah, you
Okay,
guys
now,
are trying.
if I should ask you, what are the challenges you faced? Like, you know, in the okay well like you really took your time to express to talk about your long distance relationship, but moving abroad, like moving to the UK from Nigeria, what would you say was the most, you know, challenging part of it? And I wouldn't say in your relationship because you, of course, you moved with your husband. It's not as though you moved alone, and I saw the way he was carrying all the load where you guys were going. But like the you suffered that man, sister. I saw
Please,
the way
we're
he
not going
was.
to suffer. Not for
You stressed him. You stressed him. So how will you
this
say like
Christian girl deserves to be pampered.
you need to go and massage him? You saw the video where I was massaging my husband. You need to go and massage him and let him rest. So what was the challenge? Like what were the challenges you encountered? You know, trying to relocate to another country, and why the UK? Why UK?
Okay, so remember when I told you that God always has a way of making it look like this is the time for this is the time
Mm,
for this, whenever it's time for it, even if we didn't plan it really. So the first thing is that my husband studied accounting and he's an auditor in a big four company auditing firm. So as at that year, as at last year, so he was supposed to finish his CA exam. So SCA exam is like ICANN, where you get
Mm.
certified, but the SCA is the international version of ICANN. ICANN is Nigeria. So
Okay.
so he got certified in it. When he got certified in it, he started getting some job offers, and he did some applications as well, and did some job interviews. And yeah, so he got a job here in the UK for to be an auditor.
Mm.
And then so that was the beginning of our journey. So it was more like, okay, I guess this is time for another phase. And meanwhile, while we were in Nigeria, I still had prayers in my heart that I don't want to stay in Nigeria for long. I don't want to base here. But he wasn't really a fan of leaving Nigeria.
Mm.
He wanted us to be in Nigeria, but could always travel out,
Yeah.
visit countries, and come back. So when the whole thing happened and he was taking it in all well, I was like, oh, okay, makes sense, thank God. And he's the one that also made most of the applications. So obviously we got to that stage where wanted to give it a try. And the prayer there was also that if it's not going to happen, then we're not going to push it. It means
Mm.
we'll just stay back in the country and try it, because there are lots of people in Nigeria that are still doing very well. So the prayer answer then was, okay, you make your applications. If it works out, fine, move ahead with it. But if it
Mm.
doesn't work out, then we'll be fine with it and we'll be satisfied that this is where God wants us to be. We'll stay back in the country. So when the whole job offer came, then the financial part of it came along, that you have to process your visa, get some stuffs and all that. And as at then, he lost his passport, so we need to also go and do a new one. I know how the country can be. It can be frustrating
Yeah.
that you apply to take you months to even get it. And I think the funny part of our journey to the UK is that we're supposed to leave in December, but something just happened that it didn't work out again. We were really sad because we've already sold lots of our properties, thinking we were
Mm.
moving out in December, but that didn't happen. And it was more like we're back to square one. It was more like, what is happening? God, I thought this was it. You know how you feel that urge that yes, this is what God said, this is God's plan,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't work out. I'm asking myself, God, I was on my own, no, I was on my own, and you said, okay, we're doing this. How come all of a sudden it's no more happening? Because a lot of things that time was pointing out, yes, this is the next thing. You get,
Yeah.
and then it didn't happen. We were really sad because we've made lots of expenses that period, thinking it was happening in December. Then fast forward to January ending, or first week of February, the second offer came up again, and
Mm.
then everything was working out well. And at the beginning, we're like, "Ah, let's not be like the first one. Let's just be watching." Then we just kept doing each stage, each stage, each stage. And then we came to the last stage, got our visa, got everything. And we're like, okay, wow, this is actually happening.
Mm.
So that was it. And then the challenge there was now the fear of me not getting a job, because I just started in Huawei barely 2 years, and I don't really have any other job experience apart from what I was in Huawei,
Yeah.
which was procurement. And then I was also scared, will I be able to really get, because of the stories I hear, most people they'll tell you as you're coming in, the first few months you're going to struggle. You have to do maybe menial jobs. You have to look for some job that you just, no matter how stressful, you just do it until you survive through. You get most of the
Yeah.
things you see on Instagram, on Facebook and all. I was really scared because I didn't want to be a sit-at-home wife. You get, I wanted to also have my own source of income that I could bring to the
When
family.
you said sit at home, I remember the Monday sit at home. I don't know how my mind just ran there. Sorry about the distraction.
But I don't know if it's actually, because it's worse that you are sitting at home and you're not bringing in anything.
Yeah.
Also, some people they are fine with it, which I'm not. I'm not insulting anybody, but I'm just saying generally, I didn't want that, especially saying that I've had some experiences and
Yeah.
I've also had some good qualifications. I feel like I'll be able to bring in something to the family also. Do you get?
Mm.
So I was really scared, but I didn't want it to discourage us from going. I just made this prayer. I just told God, God, I don't want, this is what I want, right? I don't want to come here. If you are going to really give us this, and I'll come here and start feeling sad. Some people, they go into this depression. It even
Yeah.
affects their marriage or something. I say, God, I don't want that. I want where I'll come in and I'm very satisfied and all. So when we came in and then I started sending in applications to companies. I did lots of physical interviews. I did lots of online interviews. I did lots of
Yeah.
applications, and he was really supporting me that period to help me
Really.
to to check through my CV, even call some few friends that could help go through my CV and see if I'm missing out anything or if it's up to the UK standard of how it should be and all that. So I really put in the effort. And I think that's also one thing about we Christians, we fail to understand. It's not about asking God for a miracle. You have to put in an effort to get that
Yes.
miracle.
Preach it.
You can't
Yes.
just say, God, I want a limousine, and you're just lying down. You're not struggling to make income to get the limousine. Which money will God send you
No,
an
it
angel
will
at the
fall from
bus stop?
heaven. After falling from
So
heaven, God will always fuel it for you every day.
and I think what was really surprising, unlike me, I could easily give up on things. I could easily say, I'm tired, I know fit. So, but I just saw myself having this energy
Mm.
that some interviews comes out negative and I'm still happy. I'm like, okay, maybe it was not meant to be.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've across all years, I've really seen how when it was meant to be, it actually happened. And I had that feeling that if it was meant to be, it will happen. Do you
Yeah.
get?
Yeah.
So when those applications were coming in negative, there are lots of negative applications actually. But I wasn't really discouraged. My husband was encouraging me as well. We're praying about it and all. And then what's it called? So I now got another job interview that I went for. And the sincere truth about this job interview was that in most of the job interviews I've done,
Yeah.
sometimes they ask me, am I applying in other places? I'll tell them no, so that they will know that I want them. Do you get? But
Yeah.
after my husband told me I should stop saying no, I should actually be sincere with them. So this particular last job interview, they asked me that question on the interview. They asked me, am I applying in other places? I told them yes, that I'm actually applying in other places since I came in for the past 3 weeks. But
Mm.
that I like their place because there is a technology firm and it's giving me the same feel of what I had when I was in Huawei. So it's more like I'm migrating to a known environment.
Mm.
So the lady was like, oh, I'm applying in other places. Then let her push my CV fast to set up an interview for me so that in case I get to other place, I will not reject them. So they set
Oh.
up another interview. I did with them. Do you get? I did with them and then answered their questions. And then they did the third interview that I met them in the office. And then they asked me that question again that am I also still applying on that? I told them, yes, I'm still applying other places. They said, okay. Before I go home, they sent me a mail that they're
Hmm.
giving me the offer.
Wow.
And the funny part of that job is that
Hmm.
among all the jobs I've applied so far, that's the best.
Hmm.
That's the best among all the other jobs I've applied so far. And another, what's it called? What does she say this in English? Is it something on the iceberg? A bit kini kini. The
The
the best part of it, the icing,
the icing on the
icing in
cake.
something something.
The icing on the cake.
So the whole thing is that the job, when they were doing the interview, the manager told me that it was going to be a hybrid where you do office and home, but
Oh.
that this period I'm starting, that for a long while I'll be coming to the office every day. He asked me if it was okay by me. I told him yes, that it's fine by me. Do you get?
Yeah.
Because when I was in Nigeria, I was also doing every day in the office. It was only during COVID that we didn't work from home. So I told him that I was okay with it. But the funny part of it is that when I started my job, after the first week, every other week is 2 days in the office.
Hmm.
So imagine if I just outrightly said no. Like there were so many
Mm.
things that they have said no, but at the end, God really gave me that thing I really wanted in my heart because
Okay.
I didn't want where I'll be struggling so much to go to every day, early in the morning or something. God really gave me something that was, I feel at this stage of my life that this is what I wanted. Do you get?
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that it was also in a career path that I wanted to grow in.
Mm.
And even the good thing about the company is that they said after my probation, I'll be able to do certifications in the course, that they'll sponsor me in the certification.
Wow.
So it's just so many things that if I had settled for less, I would have regretted it. And I just thank God for it because, like I said, at every point, He really showed Himself that this was it. So our journey from Nigeria to the UK, I'm not regretting it at all.
Honest.
Like, I'm not regretting it at all. God really showed himself. God really showed himself. There were so many ups and downs, which is normal as humans, but
Mm.
in all the ups and downs, he really showed that he was with us. And at the end, we really came out victorious. And I'm so grateful to God that, yeah, I'm just so grateful to God, sincerely, just thinking
This
about
is
the
this
whole
is
thing.
so this is so beautiful. You know, one thing I love about God is if you trust him, so long we're able to trust him, even finding joy in the midst
Mhm,
of chaos, he's going to make
mhm.
it he's going to make it make sense. But the problem with human beings is that we always have issues, we want to go ahead of ourselves. And from what the story you have shared now has shown that you only had to obey that which that nudge which you had in order to like apply to all of these places. And also one very important thing you did was like you made mention that even when you rejected so many no's, like you said, you still received them with joy. You didn't allow them disrupt your
To
day
weigh
or
me
make
down.
you feel like,
Mhm,
oh, I am losing, because you said that going back, seeing the track record, you've not seen where God failed you at all. And this is the
mhm.
faith every believer in Christ should have. And to all of our sisters who are watching this, do you know that thing that you have a lot of things you want to do, but you don't want to put in the work? If you don't put in the
Mhm,
work, there's nothing God is going to bless. Yes, there's nothing God is going to bless. So when you have faith, also apply the work. God is going to see that work and bless. He said he's going to bless the works of our hands. But what if there's no
mhm.
work? He's not going to bless anything. So that's really a powerful testimony from you. And girl, I see the way you're slaying. I won't say slaying. I say the way you are. Hey, there's way Christians used to say it too. I forgot it. Okay, I see
Slain in the
you
Lord.
slaying in the Lord, but there's the word they replaced for the slaying. Yeah, there's a word they used in
Oh,
replacing the slaying, but I can't really remember that. And I love the way you dress, honestly, the way you carry yourself, the way you even showcase them on social media. And every Saturday we expect couples picture. Saturday Sabbath, we expect couples picture on Instagram, and you're really doing well. So the
we
inspiration,
thank you.
because I started noticing your dressing when you started working in Nigeria. But prior to
Mhm.
that, like, did the inspiration come maybe in China or in Nigeria or?
Told me that someone from school told me that she never saw this fashion part of me when I was in Noko. I'm like, how will you see it when I'm still
How
struggling
will
for my
you?
daily cooking?
Ah,
Is it when am I going to see that one? So I think it started with in China, but I couldn't implement them in China. I always had that urge in China, but I was like, come on, I'm here to study, it's not to wear clothes. It gave me that kind of sense of I'm not here to wear clothes, I'm here to study. And coming from I'm just leaving Nigeria for the
yeah,
first time. The next thing in my head is to save money, send home,
yeah,
be make my parents proud. So the least in my mind was getting clothes. Do you get?
yeah,
So I think it was now after graduating from China, I bought lots of clothes before we traveled, and then coming into Huawei, I was in a what's it called, in a proper work environment. I
yeah.
need to dress well. So I think that also spurred me, and then the the fashion in me, because actually my dad is a tailor,
Oh,
so he's also good in fashion stuffs, but the parents type our parent type of fashion. So it has always been there, but I never practiced it because I felt that there was no money for that. I can't live a life that I can't afford.
yeah.
So I always lived within my means, which was any little clothes I had, I just managed it out. Do you get? So
Mm,
I think I'm at that stage where I could actually live to the extent of the clothes I can also afford.
yeah,
Do you get? And then my husband is also very fashion inclined, that he'll tell me Ugo, because he calls me Ugo. He'll tell me Ugo.
oh,
It's not this that you're wearing outside. You better go and wear something fine. So sometimes before I even choose, I've thought about him, and then You get so
Yeah.
I think the whole thing just started gradual, and then the fashion feeling and stuff just started increasing every day, and yeah, so that's it.
That's really beautiful. Just like keep doing what you're doing. Honestly, we are seeing it. People are seeing, and you know, I'm a big fan. Honestly, like I love it when you dress the way you dress and you do you carry yourself, and you're now slim, fit, fine. I wanted to say fine, gay, fine wife. So just keep doing what you're doing for the Lord. On that, those are so beautiful. Just say no,
Thank
you
you.
can even take it up as a career. Just that it's going to start costing you a lot of clothes to start.
My dear,
And you have
and the
plenty.
thing
You have plenty clothes because I've seen it. You have plenty clothes. Just keep styling and styling your thing.
um, I always just do within my means. The only thing
Yeah.
is just I'm not going to try to live a fake life in terms of, some people they'll just go and borrow clothes or just go and do some testing and snap picture and return it back. I wouldn't want to. I will always want to, even if it means repeating that clothes. Do you get?
Mm.
As long as it's giving me that joy that at least it's my clothes, I can wear it anyhow I want. I can style it anyhow I want to style it. You get? So
Yeah.
if to every other person watching too, don't get pressured based on, oh, this person is wearing 10 clothes in a day. Just
Mm.
wear, even if it's your one clothes, style it with your confidence and post it. Everybody will be all right. So yeah.
Honestly, there's this guy on Daniel. What is his name again? That guy that always like attacks
Brenda.
everybody on Twitter. Yes, something he said that never left my mind. He said repetition is a proof of ownership. So
I
once you keep
swear.
repeating, now you get them. Now you buy them with your money, and you're not trying to impress anybody. It's well.
Yeah.
Now, what does it feel like? What does it feel like? Okay, I wanted to say, what does it feel like studying and working, but you're not studying? What does it feel like being married? And do I even have to ask you that again? Because you're already married in Nigeria and you're working now, moving to the UK. You're married. How has the experience been so far? Like being married and working. How has the experience been?
Yeah. I think it's been lovely. Every marriage will always have little fights here and there where the wife is not listening to the husband, and the husband is like, don't do this like this, and we'll all be all right, together. So,
Yeah.
but I think one thing I really love and I'm really grateful to God about is the person I'm married to,
Mm.
because sometimes I can really be
Handful.
I
A
can really be
handful.
annoying. Do you get?
Yeah.
But he's always there to draw me back and say, oh, go, this was not what we said. This was not what we planned. Do you get? So
Yeah.
sometimes it could be crazy that attitudes come in, but I just thank God that at all times, he has always been really, what's it called, very attentive to my needs.
Mm.
And he's always ready to listen. And I think that's just the good thing there. Let the two persons not just be, oh, I'll deal with you. Do you get? Let there always be one person to say, I forgive you, come back.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
get? Let there just be someone that will always be ready to open arms to forgive. That helps the other person to learn how to forgive or learn how to also open arms. And with my husband, I think I was really able to learn that he's able to draw me back, and it helped me to also, when he also maybe do something that I'm angry about, I'm able to also forgive him and also accept him. Or maybe when I also do something wrong, I'm
Mm.
able to tell myself that I don't deserve, I shouldn't be hurting him. He doesn't
Yeah.
deserve to get hurt, because looking at our life so far, he has been a nice person to me. He has been a good friend to
I'm
me,
thinking.
because he's my biggest fan. He's the one that will cheer me inside before you come and see me post that one outside. Do you get?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
life has really been good. Sometimes maybe we're just moving into the UK. A lot of things are not exactly how we want it to be in terms of maybe house setup,
Yeah.
or maybe getting a car, or maybe there's some lifestyle we might want to live. Definitely everything will come, but gradual process. And it needs both parties to really understand that we're in this together.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've understood here in the UK, unlike in Nigeria, that we might get angry at each other. We have our friend next door, go and meet and just chill. But here
Mm.
it's just the both of us. So it means we
Hmm.
actually have each other to contend with. If you're angry, he's angry. If he's happy, you are happy. So it means we really need each other to be each other's hype man. Do you get? So
Honestly, yeah.
issues will come, but it's best to just settle it inside, and then be happy with each other because it's just the both of you. If you're
Yeah.
not happy, you can't go back to Nigeria or go outside and start looking for your neighbor before they'll deport you. So,
What you just said, what you just said is so true, honestly, and especially when you marry one of God's choicest son that have sins. When you marry a
do you
man
get?
who is supportive, a man who sincerely loves you, a man who is ready to walk with you through the thick and thin, a man who is ready to like to forgive you when you err. Sometimes we women can be a handful. Um, my dad once told me something. He said, um, my dad he told me something once. He said, don't marry a man that it can be a selfish advice. I know some persons here might have issues with it, but I'm glad it came from my own father. He said, don't marry a man that you love more than he loves you. Marry a man who
Mhm,
loves you more than you love him, because you women can be a handful. And if you marry someone that loves you more than you love him, when you messes up, it will be easier for
mhm.
him to forgive because he
He
loved you
forgives you.
first. And he started reminding me of
Mhm.
my parents, because my parents have been married for 39 years. So my dad told me that the love he has for my mother,
Wow.
yeah, from the first day he married her, is the love he still has for her today. So it keeps increasing. My father, it's hard. Lillian, it's hard for me to have a call with my dad, and my dad doesn't mention,
Mhm.
oh, when I married your mom,
That's right.
oh, your mom, oh, honestly, and it gives me so much joy. So
So that's
for,
nice.
for every lady who is watching this, be sure, even before you get married, like be sure you're not getting married out of desperation, and be sure you're not getting married to this person because he is just a Christian. No, find out if he truly fears God, if has his own personal core values, if there are things you could see and say, ah, this guy, this one a man. If not, my sister,
Mhm.
patiently wait on the Lord. If not, you go and marry one
Yeah.
mongo pack or a douchebag, and you
Mhm.
start crying,
Let's see.
start your list of prayer points will now increase. Oh, it's all right, my dear. So now we
So,
are getting to the end.
praise.
We are getting closer to the end of this session. I would like to ask you, like, what advice do you have for our audience, especially the women who are watching this and who have intentions of moving abroad? And they are scared, or maybe don't want to take actions. Like, what advice do you have for them? Those who are scared that, oh, if I move abroad, I may not find love, or oh, if I move abroad, I don't know this and that. Like, what advice do you have for someone who desires to further her either her career or look for a job abroad?
Okay, so I think the first one will be for those that are scared of finding love abroad,
Mm.
right? The first one I'll say is this. It's not like if you're in Nigeria, you find the love too. There's no guarantee to it either, especially if you really have a taste of who you want. If you
Yeah.
just want anybody randomly, you can find anybody randomly anywhere. But if you're really looking for the
Mm.
person could be anywhere. Do you get
Yeah.
the good thing there is just to keep praying to God that the right person is in the right place for you. Because even if you're in Nigeria, there are so many people in Nigeria that are not married. Is it that they're not surrounded with Nigerian men? Do you get the point? So it's
Yeah.
not even about the place of where you are. You could be in China and there'll be the right Nigerian man there for you. If a Nigerian person is your spec, there could be a right foreign person for you. Do you get the point? So
Yeah.
I think the main thing is actually asking God for direction and then let it be. There are some people that are comfortable not being married. There are some people that are they are very okay, even if when the person hasn't come and they're still comfortable, they're still happy. So I think let your happiness or let your reason for making some decision not be around man,
Mm.
because the right man will always be there at any place. There are some people that live abroad is when they've traveled to village for maybe an event that they met their right person.
Yeah.
Do you get? So I'm just saying that the right person could be anywhere. Don't limit your search to Nigeria. Don't limit your search to a certain place. Just pray to God that the right person will meet you at the right time. Because it's possible that when you are looking for the right person, it may not even be the right time for the person to come. So
Yeah.
the whole thing is still being prayerful about it and asking God for direction so that you don't go into a state where you make mistake and you look back at your life and you're like, what was I doing? And then we'll not come back and tell God, God, you knew this will happen and you allowed me to take this step. I don't understand. Shebi God was telling you to hold on, my child, but you just no feel hear word. So
Mm.
just have to be prayerful. And then for those that are looking for a job or they want to move careers abroad and all that, I would say search, keep searching, keep searching till the right one clicks.
Mm.
I applied up to when I was even in Nigeria, when we got our visa, that's when I started doing job applications. I
Hmm.
even had one job interview online when I was in Nigeria, and it didn't work out. Do you get? So
Yeah.
you don't expect that it's when you come in, you now relax. One person will call you, oh, I heard you just moved to the UK or you just moved from Nigeria. Please, I have a job for you. It doesn't work that way, except you really know somebody that is
I know
employing people.
somebody.
So just get, I know somebody. So, but what I'm saying is, you just send out your CV to everywhere. And then another thing too is some people they just say, oh, Shebina to send CV, they'll just send anything randomly. You put in the effort. Like I said, my husband helps me. We had to make some few calls. We got the UK standard of CV,
Mm.
not putting of pictures. There's some certain things you only to do your CV to make it look attracting and all that. You to make
Mm.
researches. What should I do? How do I present my CV? What skills should I get to add to make me get my job faster? Some people they go extra mile to do data analytics or to get some extra skills to be
Mm.
at the best options when they apply for jobs. So you don't expect to just sit down with your certificate and be hoping for a job in US. It's not done that way, except God really wants it to happen that way. Do you
Mm.
get?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you apply for jobs, you do get some certifications, get some skills, keep applying. The right one will click, and my sister, when it clicks, that's the starting point of it. Because once that's clicked, you have added to your CV that you have international job experience. So
Yeah.
it gets better. The only time it gets hard is when you're about to make that first move, you're about to make that first step. That's where it gets a bit rough. But trust me, once you've clicked, it has clicked. It can only get better from there. So you just put in all that effort at that beginning part because you will not put all those effort again when you start moving gradual. Do you
Yeah.
get? So that's it. You just keep pushing, keep applying, keep making researches, keep getting more skills, and keep being a best option for employers to look out for. Yeah.
That's a TED talk she just gave you now for free. For free. Thank you so much, Lillian. Honestly, I had a swell time
Mm.
with you today, and I really appreciate all your input, the things you shared, your personal stories. Thank you so much. I really sincerely appreciate. And to all of our viewers who are still with us here, at this time, we do not take you for granted. You people know that personally. Now me, I don't joke with you. The effort to put in, because even watching this video is a sign that you're putting in efforts to getting better, and to becoming the best version of yourself. So, and for our guests who have also spent her time, because I know by now she's supposed to be resting or preparing for work, but she still chose, yeah, you still chose to come and do this with us. I really appreciate. And this is what we're pegging it for today. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. You have questions or you have topics you really want us to dive into, do not forget to either you write them in the comment section, you send them to the email on the screen, or you send them to my inbox. So this is what we'll be pegging it for today, and we really appreciate our guests who made the sacrifices to be here. Please do not forget to go to her YouTube channel and subscribe, and also follow her on all of her social media platforms. You will learn a lot, honestly. Her social media platforms are being displayed on the screen as well, and if you check the description box to this video, you will also see the link to her YouTube channel. Do not forget to go there. Watch a video first before you subscribe, because if you subscribe without watching a video, YouTube might think, oh, you're a spam. So do well to watch a video first, comment, let her know you came from this place, and also subscribe, and God will bless you. And until we meet next time, keep being strong, stay safe, and keep loving the Lord, because Jesus is coming soon. See you. Bye bye.